Hi guys, welcome back into my channel. I hope you're doing awesome. I'm Meg. I'm a mindfulness coach and healer, and I share wisdom and hope through guided meditations and timeless messages, or in this case, channeled monthly messages. And in today's video, I will be sharing about May and the beautiful month as we anchor into Taurus, the sign that we all know is a fixed earth sign. It's ruled by Venus, it's ruled by the planet of love, but it's really just such a blend of a strong work ethic and also with an appreciation for the finer things in life. But some of the things that I really feel are great to keep in mind when we think of this energy of May, it's like this rock solid reliability. Taurus energy is really like the most dependable, trustworthy sign. They put their money where their mouth is, so to speak. There's also this persistence and sort of, they're represented by the bull, which, once they set a goal, they really won't stop until they accomplish it. And so there's this kind of unstoppable energy, which I think we can all use to our benefit, with like a shift in momentum and coming through, the rest of spring, and we're kind of heading into the summer. There's also this grounded practicality in Taurus that's like, they have this common sense radar that's, they can really help with finding practical solutions to things that seem really insurmountable. And, also Taurus is known for like loyalty and patience and being really calm. Overall, it's a wonderful sign of this earth energy. And I wanted to sort of give a little bit of a nod to the time period as we're here. And then I will move in now to the themes that I have sort of felt coming through that I'm channeling for you. So let's move into the themes and the channeled messages that I got. Just so that you guys know, this month I actually pulled some cards, some tarot cards from the Morgan Greer deck, which I can leave a link down below. It's one of my favorites. I have been practicing and using tarot in my own path for many, many years, and I do readings for people and often wish I had more time to really explore it. But it, to me, is just a tool, and I think it's also similar to any type of practice. It's a gateway to our higher self. So I wanted to pull 3 cards and give you guys 3 themes for the month. And so this is what I found. Starting off, as I was shuffling, there was a jumper card, and I don't usually get jumper cards. I'm like a pretty calm and balanced shuffler. So that to me really spoke volumes. And what it was the Tower, which anybody that knows the Tower card, it, shows a big wooden structure with fire and lightning and clouds and people jumping out of this building with beautiful ocean underneath it. And it's a very atmospheric card. It's a major arcana, and it comes in often as a shock or surprise. And I'm feeling like this is something outside of yourself. I think there can be an internal or an external type of response when I see this card. But what I'm getting, and the fact that it came out as an overarching sort of surprise when I started to shuffle, is just that. I think that this month of May and Taurus season, you may experience a surprise or unexpected event or news. I feel like towers are always great because in order to get from one point to the next, we have to sometimes rebuild, we have to start over, we have to burn down existing structures that no longer work or perhaps that we don't value anymore. And it's not a negative by any stretch. It's, I think, really positive. And I think that you guys have been planting so many seeds. I'm really like being drawn to these beautiful white tipped waves at the bottom of the card, which signifies this watery happiness. I think they're going to be watering your tears from something that's just going to come out of the blue. And it's also a blue moon, the Sagittarius blue moon at the end of this month. So it does feel very fitting that something might just come out of the blue. And I think that this is what makes life really kind of stop you in your tracks and remind you that we are not on this path on a solo journey without any other influences. We are, accessing our higher self, but there's the greater divine and all of the human race and nature. And it's this very collective energy. So I think that you might want to get ready for something that could just come, and it might be some random job offer from a company that you were always interested in and then you just like let it go. Or maybe there was someone that you were dating or that you expressed interest in, or you were friends and you didn't think it was appropriate to sort of go down, the path to a romantic relationship, and all of a sudden, there's this sort of aha moment, or you run into them and it's like, well, maybe we should give this a go. I mean, things that you kind of, I don't get this energy as something out of the blue, and that it doesn't tie to something that you really want, because that's this earth energy of Taurus. It's like I just said, it's reliable and it's also very grounding. So keep that in mind, that there's going to be some kind of shocking, fun, amazing, positive thing that comes. And I hope that you'll let me know in the comments of whatever it is that's coming for you all. And if it is something that's not feeling as comfortable or challenging, just remember that it's always happening for you, not to you. It's happening for your highest good, so that you can clear something away or you can start fresh. And, I always use the analogy of like the waitress that has all these beautiful plates, and she's ready to drop them off at the table, but the table is full of old water glasses and half-eaten plates and utensils. And so we got to clear off the table, guys. We have to clear things off energetically, spiritually, like physically, and in our spaces. We got to clear to make room for what's meant to come for you. So the first theme that I have, moving into the 3 cards that I pulled, we got the Queen of Pentacles, and she is very regal and she is confident. She's wearing a beautiful cloak. She's got gold armored jewelry and rings. She has a vibrant crown, and she also has a beautiful saturated like hillside that is just bustling with leaves and mountains, and there's a bounty and a growth here. Pentacles are earth energy. If any of you are Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn, you may feel this a little bit more strongly. This is Pentacles, which is tied to, material possessions and wealth and financial stability. And what I'm seeing here is the confidence and poise of someone who's put in a lot of work, and she's reflecting and she's calling in that which she desires, and she's also holding on very just comfortably to these pentacles. So I think queens are very much, important in the deck because there's only 4 of them. And, pentacles are a slower energy, things that might take a lot longer to grow. We may be planting seeds, and all of a sudden it feels like, is this really happening? Is it ever going to come? And I would tell you that the slow moving energy that is the earth, that is, nature, and the unspoken quiet progress that sometimes doesn't feel like it's happening, well, it is. So you might just notice something. Maybe it's a little more tactical, like, oh, I have extra money in my bank account this month, or maybe you've paid down some debts, or you're able to take a trip and you have a little bit saved. I just get a sense that your financial well-being has improved, and I think it also is a reflection of you feeling intrinsically more worthy, and sort of like this increase in your self-worth and your confidence. Like, I've made it through these pastures. I've traveled so far to get to where I am today. And I mean that in a very visceral sense. Like, you may have had to go on a really wild career ride, and you finally have started to see the fruits of your labor, per se. But this is a very grounding, healing, confident, wonderful card to get. So I think this month is, May is known for celebration, right? It's sort of the end of the school year. We start gearing up for the graduations and summer, and it's starting to be warmer weather, and there's more barbecues and being outside and going to the beach or the pool or the lake or just in nature. And people have more free time perhaps, or they're just spending more time outside. And I think you're going to feel a little bit more like yourself and a little bit more comfortable this month. So I hope that that is the case. And I think that this will be something that you look back on and notice that it's a time where you've turned a corner. That's what I'm getting. Okay, the second card that I pulled for you all was the Moon card. And for those of you that don't know, the Moon is also a major arcana similar to the Tower, which jumped out at the beginning. And the Moon is watery energy. It is very much tied to our emotions. It is tied to the way that we feel and the things that are happening to us in the moments of our everyday life. On the card, there's a crab coming out onto the land out of the sea and sort of taking this step. And the Moon card is known for illuminating that which we cannot see. And I love it because I think this is just exactly similar to what I was just saying. We might feel like we're going along in our life and our days, and it's almost like Groundhog's Day. When is something going to change? Why am I not seeing, these things that I'm putting so much effort behind, or I'm really, really trying hard and aligning my energy in the right ways? And there are certainly moments where I feel like we look at our experience and we have been building. There's two really beautiful buildings amongst the Moon on this card, and they're very erect and straight and structured. And I know that all of us crave structure in some way. And I think that this card is reminding us that the structure is there to support us, and you are literally building the structure as we speak. But don't be alarmed if things that you're wishing for, or experiences, or financially, perhaps in your community, the way that you're viewed, if you feel like the feeling I'm getting is like when you don't get chosen on a team and you feel left out. Like I remember in recess playing, baseball or, tetherball or whatever it was, and everybody would just be kind of sitting there like, pick me. And I'm getting that energy for this card because it's like you can taste so clearly what it is that you want, and you're almost waiting for it. And so I do encourage you to be that which you want to see in the change of your life. So if you really want to move into a different direction, I would spend time lighting yourself up in that way, educating yourself, reading, being in the environment of this, or, partnering with people that know about it, and sort of walking the walk before it happens, because we then call the experience to us much more quickly. And this card I love because it's just a reminder, you guys, all of your hard work is paying off, and anything that you're doing, whatever's meant for you, is never, ever, ever going to pass you by, because you are the only you, and you don't have any competition, because your experience is completely unique to you. So if you can't see through like the forest through the trees right now, and you're feeling a little bit like beaten down or just frustrated, or like you're behind, you're not. You're precisely right where you're meant to be. And sometimes I've been reminding myself a lot lately, that we might find ourselves in situations that don't really feel completely aligned or comfortable, but we have to just do our best in the moments that we have, and transition our way through, because everything's evolving and changing. So soon enough, you will see the light. There will be illumination. And this month, I think you're going to start to see things that maybe you might not have noticed. And also, it can just mean that you're looking at it from another perspective, which is always beautiful. Okay. The third card that I got was the Six of Swords. And swords are representative of our mind and our thoughts. And swords are this very sort of cut and dry energy. I feel like this is a little bit of you being in your head, and maybe there's a little bit of anxiety around what's next or what you're currently putting your efforts into. And it's interesting that you had the Queen of Pentacles first, which was this very vibrant, like clearly confident energy. This energy is kind of like second guessing yourself, or even self-sabotage, which I'm not necessarily getting, but it's almost like the figure on the card is holding the swords and has a hood over their head, and they're sort of turning away from the community and the beautiful sunset and the beach. And I feel in this case, it's almost a reminder that we have to trust the process. You can't not be vulnerable, and you can't not be human. And sometimes it requires that we have to just stand up again and not give up and keep going. And with this card, it's almost like someone that's like hiding so that they're not able to be fully seen, which in part is not a truthful or a very congruent energy with like the light being that you are. It's like, show the world who you are and be confident just as you are today, even if things are not perfect, or you're not in this like beautiful house, or you're not in the right place like with your body, or you're trying to like trim down, or maybe, you just don't have the job that you feel like you deserve. All those things you're working on, you are perfectly imperfect and beautiful and wonderful as you are today. What if you could just release the swords, the anxiety, and the energy that's tied to not being enough? Because that's what this card is. This card is self-worth that is slipping through the cracks. And I think, it's funny that this comes up, and I can be honest and tell you guys that my schedule has been really compounded with just my consulting business, which has been pretty bonkers. But then I also am trying my best to continue and maintain all my spiritual practices. And I feel like I don't feel like they're slipping, but I feel like I'm aware that I really have to carve out the time. Whereas in the past, the time was just always available. And this is kind of that energy. It's like, we can't let these things kind of slip through the cracks. And part of that is what I always talk about in my meditations. It's cultivating our thoughts. What is your self-talk? How are you speaking to yourself? What are the types of nice things and compassionate ways that you can support yourself and that you can believe in yourself? And then also, most importantly, that you don't give up on yourself. Wow. I really had my throat chakra was getting ready to close. So that was a really strong message for you guys. We have to believe in ourselves. Because if we don't believe in ourselves, nobody else is going to. Wow. I can't believe that. My throat just really responded. So, you guys, there's a lot of big energy this month. These cards were sort of the portals to help share these messages and themes. And I think that you've been planting and the seeds are starting to blossom. And it can be really tiring and gruesome when we feel like we should have already seen some beautiful growth and leaves. But keep going and just keep trying. And we're only like one thought away from shifting into a better space. Like, just one thought away. If you're feeling like you're, whatever it is that's dragging you down or you're feeling is negative, like just think to yourself, I can choose to choose a different thought. And in that moment, you can redirect yourself. One other little tip that, because I feel this overthinking kind of heady swords energy that might be coming up for a lot of us this month. And one recommendation I can make alongside just standard meditation in whatever form sounds good, which in certain cases is doing something different, right? So maybe it's doing a walking meditation outside, or, maybe it's doing a guided meditation, or just sitting with the sun on your face for a couple minutes, whatever resonates for you. But also, I've been listening to an unusually large amount of music lately. And part of it is that my partner is very savvy with just all genres of music and a musician himself. But I find that it's so soothing, and it really helps me to ground when I'm feeling overwhelmed. And, sometimes it's even while I'm working. So if you need time to sort of heal and you only have a few minutes, get out into nature, turn on some music, call an uplifting friend. Like, you've got the resources. And you guys, May is going to be an amazing month. It is a month of celebration. That Queen of Pentacles, she is definitely sitting on her throne, and she's ready to accept and invite in so much goodness. So I hope that you will have an amazing month, and I will be back so soon for another video. I love you guys. Take care.